Small picking them, Bassa. Joy! Don't have to picking now.
It was supposed to be the beginning of a new chapter, not the end of a life. A man who left the comfort and safety of Europe, returning to his own land with dreams of building, investing, and giving back, ended up buried in a shallow grave. His body broken, his head separated from his body, his killer walking away with his car key in their pocket. So there is this update about a man in Lagos, and this is a very disturbing case. Police have arrested a man for allegedly assaulting his wife just 4 days after she gave birth. According to witnesses, the attack was so severe that the young mother collapsed and was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. It was the man's own sister who lives with the couple that raised the alarm. She called the police after witnessing the assault, while the victim's mother, who was in home for the traditional Omugo care, stood in shock and tears as her son-in-law attacked her daughter. Thanks to the sister-in-law's quick action, officers arrived promptly and took the suspect into custody. And rumors have since circulated that the woman did not survive, but our investigation reveals a different picture. Multiple credible sources confirm that she is showing signs of recovery. Even the suspect's sister, who reported the incident, says she is still in disbelief over the violent scene she witnessed in her brother's home. Police have now charged the husband to court as the investigation continues. This is really sad. A woman who actually gave birth to your own child was beaten like a thief. It is advisable to walk away whenever you have any argument with your partner instead of laying hands on her.
These are the baby. He beats you. About video, whether the man don't beat her inside. Your mother beat you inside. You don't beat her. They don't touch you anymore. They get panic attack. They get panic attack. Your mother beat you inside. Video that well. I tell us inside or it's on call. Why you do this kind of thing? Hold this baby. Why you do this? This one is where you go do this. Where you go do this? Where is the mother? Where is the mother? What happened to the mother? What happened to the mother? He too. Then what happened to her?
We had the issue. It was also because of the new boss.
You went to the hospital, but you beat her up.
No, we had the issue.
You did not beat her? Because she sustained injury. The mother sustained injury. She's on oxygen right now. She's on oxygen right now. So what happened? Having a panic attack. Mama, she don't pretend. Nobody we made that with the other.
Today, we investigate the cold-circulated killing of Dinga Protus, a Cameroonian German whose death has left Limbe in shock and exposed the deadly underbelly of land dispute in Cameroon. Dinga Protus was not just another man with a dream. Born in Cameroon, he moved to Germany in search of better opportunities. There, he built a life, a respected member of the Cameroonian community in Essen. He was described as humble, approachable, and generous. When the time came to invest back home, he chose Limbe. His plan was to develop real estate in Kahi village, to build homes, create jobs, and inject fresh energy into the local economy. Friends said he believed in giving back without asking for applause. But that belief, that optimism would put him on a collision course with people whose only interest was greed and blood. It It was early May 2025 when Protus received a call from a man he trusted, George, a site supervisor. George claimed there was a land issue that needed Protus' immediate attention in Kahi village. What Protus did not know was that George had already been plotting his death. Witness statements and police reports revealed that George met with 4 accomplices that morning. Together, they dug a shallow grave in advance behind an isolated area on the property. The plan was simple: lure Protus, kill him, bury the body, and disappear with his possessions. Around midday, Protus drove to the site in his SUV. It is believed he carried important documents and cash because he thought the meeting was legitimate. George greeted him warmly, hiding the fact that this was the last smile Protus would ever see. Once Protus stepped out of his vehicle, George led him towards the problem area. That was when the ambush began. Police say the first blow came from behind, a hammer strike to the head. Protus fell, dazed, trying to understand what was happening, but before he could speak, another accomplice struck him again. The assault was brutal, multiple hammer blows, the sound of metal striking bone. George and his men overpowered him, ignoring his cries. Investigators believe Protus may have begged for his life in those final moments. Then came the most horrific detail, that is, decapitation. The suspect used a machete to sever his head. This was not an act of rage. This was methodical, cold-blooded. They dumped his body into the grave they had prepared earlier that day. The head was buried alongside the soil, hurriedly packed to erase all evidence, but their greed did not end there. They took his car, personal belongings, and fled. George and his accomplices believed they had committed the perfect crime, but mistakes were made. Instead of disappearing quietly, George tried to sell Protus' car in Douala, a move that caught police attention. The vehicle was registered under Protus' name, and the seller's nervous behavior raised suspicions. When police detained George, the story began to unravel, and during interrogation, George broke, admitting to luring Protus, detailing the attack, and leading investigators back to Kahi village. In a harrowing recovery operation, officers dug into the soil, and there they found what they feared: the remains of Dinga Protus, confirming the brutality of the crime. The news spread like wildfire. In Limbe, grief and anger collided. People who knew Protus personally could not understand how a man who came to help could be treated with such cruelty. In Germany, members of the Cameroonian diaspora were devastated. In Essen, where Protus was active in community events, people describe him as a big brother figure. On social media, the hashtag as Justice for Protus exploded, with thousands demanding swift punishment. Influencers, activists, and everyday citizens all echoed the same sentiment. If a man cannot safely return to his own country to invest, what hope is there for anyone? This was not just about one man's death. Investigators and community leaders say the killing highlights a deadly trend: land disputes turning violent, especially against members of the diaspora who return with investment plans. Such cases often involve trusted insiders, people hired to protect projects, becoming the very threat that destroys them. Weak enforcement of land rights and lack of swift justice have emboldened such criminals. Human rights advocates in Limbe are now calling for stronger laws to protect investors and to prosecute land-related violence as a priority. The suspect, George, and his 4 accomplices are now in custody, facing charges of premeditated murder, conspiracy, and theft. Court proceedings are expected to draw large crowds. The public wants transparency. They want to see the men who took Protus' life face the full weight of the law. If convicted, they could face the maximum penalty under Cameroonian law, but the question remains: will justice be swift or will the case be dragged into years of legal delay? Dinga Protus came home to build. He left Germany with dreams of houses, jobs, and a future for his people. Instead, he was betrayed by the very ends he trusted. His story is a warning about greed, about broken trust, and about the dangers that still lurk beneath the surface in communities desperate for development. As we await the court's verdict, one truth remains. No matter how deep a grave is dug, the truth will always find its way to the surface. If you found this video informative and educative, don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notification bell icon for more.
Small pikin dem basa. Joy! Dona kasa fa pikin no.
Si ma